All right, well, here's the 65. It's been sitting in here for a while, not being worked on. It's got just tons of dust. I'm gonna have to clean the whole thing. It's been about 20 years since this thing has ran. I just got the plug wires and the plugs put in it. I gotta tighten up the carburetor, and I think I'm gonna hot wire the distributor just so I can hear it fire for a second. Still doesn't have a drive shaft. Well, actually, drive shaft's in it. What else do I need to do yet? Actually, other than the fuel system, I think we're almost complete. Obviously some vacuum hoses, belts, but I think it's just about ready to go. I have to try and remember where I'm actually at on the project because I stopped working on it a couple months ago. But yeah, hopefully we can get this thing put together, and depending on where we're going on Power Tour this year, this might be my Power Tour car. I guess once the route gets released, we'll decide which of the toys we're gonna take, but it'd be nice to get this thing put back together and take the kids and go cross country in a convertible. Yeah, let me get this hot wired and throw some fuel in it. We'll see if it'll fire off. All right, so before I'm gonna throw fuel in the car, I need a battery. And this is currently the battery tray that came out of the car. 25 years ago when I bought it, I had thrown a piece of metal in the bottom and it worked okay. This is the one out of my donor car. I thought, well, heck, I'll just buy a new one. So if I had a 64, it was $30, but I have a 65, so it's 120. I can't, you know, and even the later ones, if you get past 66, 69 to 72 are only $29. So for $120, I just can't justify buying a new one for something that you're not really gonna see. So my plan is, because I have this tab on this one, and I have this tab and this tab on this one, I'm going to combine these two rusty pieces of metal with a chunk of plate and make a battery tray rather than spending $120 for a tiny piece of metal that you can hardly see. So I'm gonna do this first. All right, so I cut this rusty stuff off of these two tabs. Now I have this piece like this. I think because this is so deteriorated through here, there's literally nothing left of the original. I think what I'm gonna do is leave this together to use as a marker, and I'm just gonna make a new tab out of a new piece of metal. That way I can run a strap underneath the bottom all the way across for extra support. I'm not worried about the fact that there was like ridges and stuff in this one, because when it goes into the car, most of the battery weight will sit on this ledge anyway. And so we're just basically balancing it off of the wheel well in between the radiator support. So, and there's good solid metal here, so shouldn't take too much to hold it in. All right, so I just sandblasted the piece of metal I cut off the original, or actually the donor car. This is the original. My goal, plate metal here, and I'll weld that together, and most of that rust will never be seen because it'll all be on the bottom like that. And then, like I said, I'll just make a new tab for this side, put a little reinforcement plate. So let's get her welded. All right, so here's what I came up with. There's actually another tab that was missing off of both of them, so I put 2 new tabs on it, and I'll drill those holes once I get it painted. The original tab here is still on there, the original tab here, and then I welded threads into there with a square nut. It was galvanized, so it left behind the nice white crud. And then I also, just for extra support, I don't think I needed it, but I did add this bar, which will sit underneath the battery and add a little strength, just to make sure it's not bouncing around in there. But I should have a good hold down now, and nice secure battery. So we'll get this all, I think I'm going to temporarily install it in the car just so I have a place to put the battery while I'm working on it. And then I have new POR 15 coming, so we'll get it painted up and bolted in. All right, so I'm going to put some coolant in my radiator and get the cooling system all filled up. I thought I'd show you how I do it. I have a few different ones of these. This one's like the simplest to use. It's a simple cone that fits in the top of the empty radiator. You hook an air hose to it and get it done. All right. That's more than enough for what I'm doing. So you can see, the needle's holding steady at almost 25 inches of vacuum. The hoses are completely collapsed, and there's no air in the system at all. So then I can simply open this valve with the hose inside your 50/50 coolant here, and it'll literally backfill the system and prevent there from being any air behind the thermostat or trapped in the heater core or anywhere else. And when you do it this way, before you put a drop of antifreeze in the engine, you know that you don't have any leaks. I actually, when I first started to do it, I remembered that I forgot to put the plugs in the side of the block. So I actually had to lift it back up on the hoist and put those in. But it's holding vacuum good. I'm gonna go ahead and get it all filled up with coolant here, and we'll see if we can't get this thing to fire this weekend. All right, I pulled it off and you can see the water levels. Yeah, hard to see, but it's right there. It's basically at the top. You would top off the extra, but I don't have an overflow yet, so I'm not going to until I get my overflow done. But you'd be safe to put the cap back on it and run this engine up to operating temp, knowing that there's no air in the system. All right, so I got the fuel line connected from the fuel pump to the carburetor. And I got thinking, with no exhaust on this, and it's not really ready to run, and I don't have enough transmission fluid in stock to get the transmission filled, I think I'm going to drizzle a little bit down the carburetor just to see if it'll actually fire. But I'm not going to actually run it tonight. I'm going to crank it over right now just to hear how it sounds and how charged the battery is. That battery does not sound great. So before I actually try and dump a little gas in this, I'm going to get my bigger charger on it. And because I just have this really small little trickle charger. We'll do that, and then yeah, I'm going to just throw a little gas down the carburetor just to hear it fire, and that'll be good enough for me to be excited about it. And then we'll get some exhaust on it, get the alternator ordered, put the belts on, and we'll actually run this thing and get this camshaft broke in. All right, got the big charger on it. I have already, before the distributor got put in this, the engine was completely primed over with the drill, or the oil pump was turned over with the drill, and the engine was primed before I ever started to crank it. Like I said, it's not totally full of transmission fluid. There's enough in there that the pump should be lubricated, but I definitely need more. Actually, I can smell that battery cooking. Turn this down a little bit. I'm gonna roll it over again one more time before I put fuel in it, just to hear the compression, and then we're gonna see if it starts. Yeah, I think this battery's pretty crap. It's smelling like it's cooking already. But, all right, I'm gonna throw some gas in it, hook up the distributor, and see if it fires. All right, I dumped a little fuel. My distributor's connected to the battery. Oop, no, it's not anymore. This is not super connected, but that should be enough of a connection to get me some spark. Just got a wire stuck in there. Let's see what it does. Backfire through the carburetor, or it's gonna try and start. Let's see. Oh, too much timing. We turn this way for fire. We're hitting too soon. I'm gonna see if I can move this a little bit. Do I have it too tight for real? Might have to, oh, nope, we got it. Distributor's moved a little bit. Sounded like it had a little bit too much timing. Try that again. Still a little too much. Again. I think this battery's just not going to make it here. Let me try and turn the voltage up. It's back up to 40 amps. No, I think I need a better battery. There's no way I'm going the wrong way with that, am I? Let's try that. Oh, maybe I am. Huh. Start over here. All right. I added a little more fuel and a little more voltage. Let's try again. Oh, that's detonating early. Let me go this way. Damn, I came off the starter, I think. I don't think I can do this one-handed. We might have to put you in a fixture. All right, here we go. I got a little more fuel in it. Let's see what happens. What? I think I lost voltage on the wire. Yep, I gotta tighten up the positive terminal. All right, battery cable is tightened. Charger's back on. I also hooked a booster pack to it. Let's see what happens here. First start in 20 years. And... yes. Awesome. Now I just need exhaust. Awesome. Well, that was exciting. Me and my wife got married in this car, and it's been 22 years since it's been drivable. Hearing the engine fire like that's pretty exciting. Can't wait to get the thing put back together. I know I have like 176 or 75 days till power tour, and if this thing's 100% mobile and reliable, and I feel like I can drive it across the country, I'd love to take it on this year's power tour. I had wanted to last year, and when I finally was starting to put the engine into the frame and putting the body back on it last year, I think I had like 100 and some days, and that was kind of my goal, and it obviously came and went. The car's in about the exact same condition it's been for the last year, but it does start now. I have a couple vacuum lines I still have to find. This is the only piece of piping I can't find. I would manage to get the other piece and the transmission line and the brake booster line somewhere. I should have two of them even, but I have to find that piece for the choke. Like I said, the fuel tank, I still have to deal with that. But cooling system's filled, the engine starts. Now I just need exhaust, and like I said, I'm gonna get a different alternator because this chrome one's actually for the Cadillac engine for the S10, and this is pretty stock other than the distributor. I'd rather not have a chrome alternator on it. Obviously the aluminum radiator's not stock either, but for the value and the cooling ability of the aluminum radiator, that's why I chose it over a brass. It's a lot lighter and better and cheaper. And it doesn't matter about the originality. I mean, I have seats out of I don't even know what year they are, 93, 97 Caprice. But they're power seats. So I'm making those fit on the inside. And I still have a ton of work to do, huh? Anyway, thanks for watching, like and subscribe.